mechanistically speaking, for a person to start to think of their breath as being a whole body global experience, how does a person start to bring awareness into the foundation of breathing? Would the foundation of breathing be in their feet? Would their foundation of breathing be in their pelvic floor? Would the foundation of, like, where is the foundation of breathing for a person?
There's an exercise in the book called Witness Breath. And Witness Breath is borrowed from Zen practice. And that is just to watch breath as it occurs in the wild. So you be a little lab scientist and watch nature. You're the nature and you're also the lab scientist. And start to witness the breath behavior, right? And I would illuminate the touch, the physical touch of air. So I think of air as a transient organ. It's this thing that actually has pressure and shape. It moves in and it moves out. It's never yours to keep. It's absolutely this elemental, shape-shifting, ephemeral organ that is ever present. So I have people, or I'd have you, start to increase your attention on that, right? The feeling of air at the openings of the nostrils. If you're able to breathe through your nose, that would be awesome. And get a sense of the temperature of the air. Also get a sense of, if you know anything about the structure of the nose, you've just got thousands of hairs. And so you can imagine the journey of the air being pried apart like a toddler's comb, a toddler's brush. Toddlers are covered with, after sleep, their hair is all matted. And so what those hairs inside the nose do is they start to pick apart the air, oscillate it, and then inside your nose you have these incredible structures called turbinates that end up spinning the air, exposing it to more moisture, exposing it to warmth, and then that air cascades down the trachea into the bronchi and dividing and dividing and dividing in the lungs until we get to these end fields with these tiny little 500,000 little tiny grape-shaped structures called alveoli. So from there, you then want to develop a sense of the tissues around the lungs as a reflection, a pressure reflection of that organ entering and exiting. And so there will be shape change, either in the immediate area of the ribs or below. Like we talked about zone 1, you might feel the gut shifting out and in. You might feel your waist expanding and falling in. You might feel your lower back pushing backwards and then pushing back into you, or you might feel even more distant in your pelvic floor, a stretch and then a release. That would be somebody who has an expression of zone 1. Or depending on, where they're at, they might feel suction around their nose and their face. They might feel their eyes being pulled in and out. They might feel their throat being kind of vacuumed in and out, or the sides of their neck being pressurized and then relieved, which would be a little bit more some zone 3 activities. So that would be one of the ways I would guide people into awareness of breathing. And once we get an awareness of, okay, well, which zone is home? Am I home in zone 1? Am I home in zone 2? Or am I home in zone 3? And none of these are wrong. It's just, where's the breath hanging out right now? Then that's where I would then direct us to work next in terms of self-myofascial release or movement-based exercises, so that we can have the facility to play in all 3 zones, but ideally hanging around more in zone 1 and zone 2, because we don't really want to be stuck in a zone 3 panic, high stress breath.
That concept that I feel like you made up, because I haven't heard it before, of the breath being, or air being like a transient organ. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. As you did you make that up?
Yeah, it's in the book. I think I got it from, here's where I got it from. The fecal matter is a transient organ,
Sure.
but air also contains a microbiome. And don't make me go into detail on that because I don't have enough data to support that. But there is a really interesting symmetry, I think, to bowel and lungs, right? We have this outlet in our anus, and then we have this inlet in our mouth, which is also an outlet. I guess the anus is also an inlet. But isn't that interesting? But it's never yours to keep because the air is always then being processed in your vasculature, and you're always then ejecting what's no longer useful, that load of carbon dioxide. It's pretty cool.